Good evening aspirants, welcome to Daily Current Affairs Analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 10th July 2025. So these are the topics we are going to discuss in this news article discussion. Now look at this news. International Criminal Court on July 8, 2025 issued arrest warrant for senior Taliban leaders in Afghanistan, and this is for prosecution of women, which is a crime against humanity. So Taliban leaders are prosecuting women in Afghanistan, and this is why International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrant for senior Taliban leaders in Afghanistan. So in this context, let us discuss about the two main important court on international level. One is International Court of Justice, another one is International Criminal Court. So what are they? What are the difference between them? What are their jurisdiction? What are their structure? So this is what we are going to discuss in this news article discussion. See, International Court of Justice is a principal judicial organ of United Nations. So it was established in 1945 along with the United Nations, and it is the principal judicial organ of United Nations. So please note that. On the other hand, we are going to discuss about International Criminal Court, which is an independent organization. So this International Court of Justice is a judicial organ of United Nations. So this is associated with United Nations. This International Court of Justice settles legal disputes between the states, and it also gives advisory opinions on legal questions raised by United Nations organs. So there are many organs of United Nations and specialized agencies for United Nations. So when they raise legal questions or advice, this International Court of Justice can render the advice to them. So that is the advisory jurisdiction of this International Court of Justice. And the main goal of this ICJ was to settle legal dispute between the states. So when two states have legal disputes, they come before the International Court of Justice, and this court will deliver the justice for them. This ICJ was headquartered at Hague in Netherlands, and it functions under United Nations Charter and also has its own statute. When two states come before the ICJ for settling legal dispute, the jurisdiction and the order of this ICJ is binding on both the states. So this order is binding, but the advisory jurisdiction of this advice of this ICJ was not binding. Only it is binding on the states regarding the legal disputes, and only states can be member of this ICJ. Individuals or organizations cannot be a member of ICJ. It is run by 15 judges, and each judge is elected for 9 years. So every judge is from one country. No two judges can be from the same country, and the judges are eligible for re-election. So the judges have 9-year terms, and there are total 15 judges. ICJ will also have one president and one vice president. So the president and vice president are elected by the judges. They have 3-year term. So this is about the structure of ICJ. Now let us see about International Criminal Court. So this International Criminal Court is what appeared in the news, and this court has issued warrant against the senior Taliban leaders in Afghanistan for persecuting women. So persecuting women is a crime against humanity. Now this International Criminal Court is an independent international organization. This court investigates and prosecutes individuals, whereas the ICJ prosecutes and settles dispute between the states, but this court investigates and prosecutes the individuals who are responsible for serious crimes. It focuses on the crimes like genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and the crime of aggression. So these are the crimes which this court focuses, and it issues warrant against individuals. This International Criminal Court was established by Roman Statute on 1998. So it was also headquartered in Hague, Netherlands. Both ICJ and ICC are headquartered at Hague in Netherlands. So look at these important facts regarding this court. Now let us move on to discuss an MCQ. Consider the following statements regarding International Criminal Court. ICC was established based on Roman Statute. India is not a party to ICC. So which of the statements are correct? Correct answer is option C. Now look at this table. This is an important difference between International Criminal Court and International Court of Justice. So International Criminal Court deals with individuals, and ICJ deals with the dispute between the states. So This ICC was established by Roman statute, and ICJ functions under the UN Charter because it is associated with the United Nations. This ICC deals with genocide and war crimes. ICJ deals with the disputes and legal disputes between the states. ICC gives direct punishment for individuals, and ICJ, it issues orders and it is binding on the states. So this is a main difference between ICC and ICJ. So with this, let us conclude the discussion and move to the next news article. Now look at this article. Financial Action Task Force has released a report called Comprehensive Update on Terrorist Financing Risk. So based on this report, this article is written, and this report cites some important studies, the case studies. For example, the Pulwama attack of 2019, the Gorakhnath temple attack of 2022. So some of these attacks and terrorist activities are mentioned in this report of Financial Action Task Force. In this context, we are going to discuss the basic facts about FATF in the point of prelims examination. Now look at the key highlights of this recent FATF reports. This report says that social media, crowdfunding, e-wallets and VPNs are used for terror financing. So these platforms are exploited by the terrorists for the financing. Nations also provide logistical, financial and training support for some terror groups. So few countries are providing state sponsorship for terrorist activities. So this was found out by the FATF report, and there are decentralized terror models which are mentioned in this report. So this is about the information regarding the FATF report. Now we are going to discuss the basic key facts about FATF, Financial Action Task Force. So look at this table, you can get all the important information about this organization. It was established at 1989 at G7 summit in Paris. The original organization or parent body for this is OECD, that is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and this was established by the FATF recommendation. So it is not based on a particular treaty or statute, just the recommendations from OECD. It has totally 39 member countries. So out of this 39 members, 37 countries and 2 organizations. India is a full-time member of this FATF since 2010. So this shows that India is not a founding member of FATF. It joined only in 2010. So below this table is given the reports, the important reports published by FATF. Please take a look at it. Now let us see the prelims practice question. With reference to Financial Action Task Force, consider the following statements. FATF is a treaty-based UN body established to monitor and prevent the international terror financing and money laundering. India, while not a founding member, is a full-time member of FATF and contributes to its mutual evaluation and compliance assessment. So the second statement is correct. India is not a founding member but is a full-time member, and it also contributes to the progress of FATF. So the second statement is correct. The first statement is incorrect because it is not a treaty based. There is no proper treaty for the establishment of FATF, and it is also not part of UN. So United Nations doesn't come into picture regarding FATF. So the first statement is incorrect. So the correct answer is option B. Option B, 2 only. So with this, let us move on to the next news article discussion. Now look at this news article. Manipur High Court has directed National Investigation Agency to submit a detailed progress report on the abduction and killing of 6 Meitei women during the ethnic conflict in Manipur. So the news is that Manipur High Court has directed the NIA to submit a detailed report on the ethnic conflict regarding the death of 6 Meitei women. So in this context, we are going to discuss about the basics of National Investigation Agency, NIA. NIA was established in 2009 and it is backed by National Investigation Agency Act of 2008. So this NIA Act was passed after 26/11 Mumbai attacks. So this NIA is India's counter-terrorism law enforcement agency, and the motto of NIA is Faith, Duty, Security. The parent ministry of NIA is Ministry of Home Affairs, and its headquarters is located in New Delhi, and it has branches all over India. For example, Hyderabad, Guwahati, Chennai, Ranchi, Chandigarh, Impal. So there are many branches, and the headquarters is at New Delhi, and it functions under Ministry of Home Affairs. So these are some of the basic facts. Now let us discuss about the jurisdiction and powers of NIA. NIA has pan-India jurisdiction. It means it investigates crime across all the states and union territories. It can operate even outside India with the central government approval. The powers of NIA are similar to those of police officers under Criminal Procedure Code. So they can arrest, seizure or summon someone, etc. NIA also maintains autonomy from the state governments for cases which are assigned by the central government. So they have some autonomy for the cases assigned by the central government. So sometimes they don't need permission of the state governments to investigate a case in the state. So these are some of the jurisdiction and powers of NIA. And NIA can investigate laws or offences under NIA Act, and these are some of the major acts mentioned in NIA Act. So if the crime or offence are made under this act, the NIA can come in and investigate. Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, UAPA, Explosive Act, Arms Act, Atomic Energy Act, Anti-Hijacking Act, Human Trafficking, Cyber Terrorism, Counterfeit Currency, etc. So in all these acts, if a crime or offence is committed, NIA can come in and investigate this crime. NIA can also take up suo motu cases based on the investigation of scheduled offences with the central government permission. So with the permission of central government, the NIA can investigate cases automatically. And the state governments are required to report scheduled offences to the center. So then center can decide upon the involvement of NIA. There are special courts for NIA for speedy trial of cases which are handled by NIA. So if a case is handled by NIA, then it can be referred to the special courts of NIA for the speedy trial. We have seen the basic facts about National Investigation Agency. Now look at this prelims practice question. It was established through a constitutional amendment. NIA can investigate offences outside India with the prior approval of central government. Only the state government can direct the NIA to take over any investigation. Now look at this statement. The first statement, it was established through a constitutional amendment. No, this statement is incorrect because it was established by NIA Act, just a legislation. So the first statement is incorrect. NIA can investigate offences outside India with the prior approval of central government. This is one of the powers of NIA, so the statement is correct. Now look at the third statement. Only the state government can direct NIA to take over any investigation. This is completely incorrect because NIA can take up cases and investigate without even the permission of state government. So only the approval of center is needed for their investigation in some cases. So the statement 3 is also incorrect. So option B, 2 only is correct. So with this, let us conclude the discussion and move to the next news article. Now look at this article. Recently, Prime Minister Modi visited Brazil for the BRICS summit happened at Rio. After his visit at Rio, he went to Brasilia on July 8, 2025. There he met Brazil President Lula da Silva and he was conferred with Brazil's highest civilian award. The award was called as Grand Collar of National Order of Southern Cross. So in Brazil, Prime Minister Modi was conferred the Brazil's highest civilian award, and this is the news mentioned here. There are also many bilateral talks going between India and Brazil. What are the outcomes of this bilateral meeting? Let us see in this news article discussion. Both India and Brazil reaffirmed that the global dispute should be resolved only through dialogue and diplomacy. Also, both nations agreed on zero tolerance towards terrorism and no double standards. So they have a shared vision. India and Brazil also agreed to work together to increase their trade in the next 5 years. So they are planning to increase the trade up to $20 billion. So this means that both countries will buy and sell more goods and services from each other. So this will help both countries' economy to grow. Brazil is also working with India to start India's UPI in Brazil, that is Unified Payments Interface, and this will be implemented in Brazil also. So this will be a fast and easy digital payment for Brazil. This makes it easier for people and business in both countries to send and receive money. So India's UPI will be implemented in Brazil very soon. India and Brazil is also trying to improve their defense cooperation. Both countries are planning to share the technology and work together on defense projects. And India and Brazil are joining hands to fight climate change by working together on clean and renewable energy. So these are some of the major outcomes of the bilateral meeting happened during the Prime Minister Modi's visit. 6 memorandum of understanding were signed between India and Brazil: renewable energy, anti-terror cooperation, intellectual property, agriculture, defense and strategic cooperation, protection of classified information. So these are the 6 MOUs signed between India and Brazil during the Prime Minister's visit. Now let us see some strategic and bilateral significance between India and Brazil. The strategic partnership between India and Brazil was established in 2006. Brazil is India's top trading partner in Latin America. So if we take the South American countries, Brazil is a top trading partner with India, and both India and Brazil are founding members of IBSA and BRICS. So these two groupings, India and Brazil, are founding members, and this forms the basis of India's South-South cooperation and Global South cooperation. Also, Brazil supports India at United Nations. See, India is aiming for a permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council, and Brazil is supporting India's cause. In terms of defense collaboration, Brazil's Embraer ties with India's Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, and many MOUs were signed between two countries on defense cooperation. So India's bilateral and strategic partnership with Brazil is growing day by day. So this is about this article discussion. Now let us discuss an MCQ. With reference to India-Brazil relations, consider the following statements. India and Brazil are members of BRICS, IBSA and G20, but not of basic group on climate negotiations. Brazil is the only Latin American country with which India has strategic partnership and bilateral defense cooperation agreement. So which of the statements are correct? See, India and Brazil are members of BRICS, IBSA and G20 and basic group. So both countries are members of all these 4 groups. So the first statement is clearly incorrect. The second statement is correct. Brazil is the only Latin American country with which India has strategic partnership and bilateral defense cooperation agreement. So the correct answer is option B. With this, now let us move on to the next news article discussion. Now look at this news. This is about the tragic Cuddalore train accident. So a school van collided with the train in Cuddalore. This claimed the lives of 3 students. So this accident exposed multi-layered safety lapses in India's railway system. So in this context, we are going to discuss for the mains perspective about the reasons for railway accidents in India, what are the steps taken by the government regarding this, and what are the recommendations of important committees regarding the railway accidents, regarding the reform in railways, and what are the way forward points. So these are the things we are going to discuss in the mains exam perspective. So let us get into the discussion. So firstly, we are going to discuss the reasons for railway accidents in India. The most important one was human error. The major cause of all railway accidents includes the negligence by the gateman, misjudgment by the loco pilots, or violation by the road users. So the human error is an important challenge, important reason for railway accidents. For example, the recent Cuddalore train accidents is also where the procedural failure at level crossing led to this tragic collision. The next one is a lack of real-time surveillance. Most of the level crossings, especially in rural areas, lack the camera-based surveillance. They also lack the digital monitors. In the absence of this real-time monitoring, the response to emergencies or violation is delayed. And this lack of real-time surveillance is also an important reason for railway accidents in India. The next important one is weak enforcement of safety standard operating procedure, safety SOPs. The standard protocols like exchange of private numbers between the station master and the gateman are not always followed or not monitored. So this weak enforcement of the SOPs are also a major reason for railway accidents. The next one is aging infrastructure. See, a significant portion of railway tracks, signals and communication equipment are outdated in Indian railways. So this is especially more in non-premium routes. So this increases the risk of derailment, signal failure and also collisions like this. So this aging infrastructure is also a reason for railway accidents. Now let us see some of the steps taken by government for reducing these accidents. First one is elimination of unmanned level crossing. So Indian Railways have eliminated the unmanned level crossing on all broad gauge routes by 2020. So this minimized the accidents which involved the pedestrians and road vehicles. The next one is automatic signaling and interlocking systems. So this installation of automatic signaling and interlocking system has been prioritized for the faster response and the reduction of human error. So this is aimed at reducing the human error. So they have installed automatic signaling and also interlocking systems in many railway gates. The next one is CCTV and drone surveillance. We have seen the lack of real-time surveillance is an important reason. So the government is setting up CCTV cameras and drone surveillance in many areas. Also another important step is train collision avoidance system, TCAS, which is also called as Kavach. So this is an indigenously developed safety system, and this system will automatically stop a train if another train is detected on the same track. So this will reduce the collision risk. So this Kavach system automatically halt a train if another train is detected on the same track. So this is the Kavach system, and this train collision avoidance system is also an important step in avoiding the train accidents. The next one is ambush check and substance testing. Surprise inspections and alcohol tests are being conducted at many places, and this substance use is also an important reason for railway accidents in many cases. So these are some of the important steps taken by government or Indian Railways. Now let us see some key committee recommendations. Kakotgar committee. So this committee has recommended the safety investment of 1 lakh crore, formation of a railway safety authority, and inclusion of safety audits and elimination of unmanned level crossing. So this committee has recommended the safety investment of 1 lakh crore and also an establishment of railway safety authority. Then Anil Kakotgar high level committee. So this high level committee has a special focus on human resource training and also for the strict monitoring of standard operating procedures and institutional safety culture. Then Sam Pitroda committee in 2012. So this committee has recommended for ICT led modernization. So digital modernization of Indian Railways is recommended. Now let us see some points for way forward. Enforcement of protocol driven operations like private number exchange between the gateman and station master. So this strict enforcement of standard operating procedure is essential for eliminating the railway track accidents, and we should use artificial intelligence and IoT based monitoring. Installing AI powered surveillance at all level crossing. This will detect the status of railway gates, gate crossing and approaching vehicles. Digital accountability tools should also be utilized for improving the safety of Indian Railways. Behavioral safety training like regular safety drills and substance abuse control should be enhanced. So this behavioral safety training is also an important step towards reducing the railway accidents. And this is a mains practice question regarding this topic. Interested aspirants can make use of it. With this, let us move on to the next news article discussion. Now look at this article. This is about a striking similarity between 1993 custodial death case and the recent Sivaganga custodial death case. So the article is talking about the similarity between the two cases, that is how the accused is illegally arrested and kept detained, and how the police have framed stories regarding the fake escape stories. So this article talks about the similarity between the 1993 custodial death case and the recent 2025 the Sivaganga custodial death case. So in this context, we are going to discuss some basic facts, data regarding the custodial death for our mains exam preparation, and also about the reasons for the custodial death and what are the reforms that need to be taken. So look at this. These are the facts about, these are the data regarding the recent custodial death. This is based on the NCRB data, National Crime Records Bureau. So this data is between 2016 and 2022. In India, totally 11,656 custodial deaths in this time period. Out of this, Uttar Pradesh tops in all states and it has 2,630 custodial deaths. And Tamil Nadu, there was a reported 490 custodial deaths. So this is the highest in South India. And 38.5% of these deaths, the victims belong to the scheduled caste in Tamil Nadu. Now let us see what are the major causes for this. First one is the torture during interrogation. So most of the custodial deaths were a result of the torture during interrogation. 0 convictions have been made despite arrest. So even after the investigation and conviction of the police personnel, there is 0 conviction. So even after the arrest of the police person, the case will get diluted and no convictions have been made. There is also weak oversight and biased inquiries. Most of these cases have targeted Dalits and marginalized groups. So this is also an important reason for more custodial death cases. And the last one is misuse of preventive detention laws. So these are the major reasons for increasing custodial deaths. Now look at this, these are the legal safeguards for custodial deaths, for custodial torture. So Article 21, so this provides the right to life. And DK Basu guidelines of, this is about the Supreme Court guidelines in 1996 regarding the custody of detainees. And also the National Human Rights Commission have given guidelines like 24-hour reporting after detaining and post-mortem protocol. Now what are the reforms needed to prevent this custodial deaths? First one is independent investigation. Since the custodial deaths were being investigated by the police personnel itself who are responsible for the custodial death, there should be independent investigation for the arrest and conviction of the responsible police personnel. Next one is CCTV and body cams. So all the stations should be properly equipped with the CCTV and the police personnel should be given the body cams, and this operating procedure should be strictly followed. So there should be mandatory CCTV in lockups. Next, about focusing on the police training and sensitization. So there is urgent need for police reforms, and this police training and should be oriented towards the sensitive nature of this job. Also the fast track courts and anti-torture law and the recommendations of law commission should also be implemented. So in this context, this is a mains practice question. Interested aspirants can make use of it. With this, let us conclude the discussion. With this, we have come to the end of the discussion. If you like the video, please share it with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.